But I wanted to talk to you about something, man, that's been on my mind. I'm a big fan of Mayor Pete. So I'm ex-Navy also. So when I looked at, some of the numbers on Mayor Pete, they were saying that he only is, the people that are attracted to him are, $100,000 a year and above, middle-class white Americans. And I kind of felt that a lot of the candidates that we're dealing with now, they all have the same base. And I fear that the Democratic Party is not reaching out to the real base of the Democratic Party, which is obviously, the Hispanics, blacks, people that don't make a lot of money, people that really have pain in society. And my suggestion, and I believe they will do this when we get closer to the election, is we almost have to start using a little bit of fear ourselves. Because at this point, no one even cares about what Trump's doing anymore. And that is the biggest fear that I have, is we're getting desensitized. And
oh, I think a lot of us care what's going on, Brian, and I think a lot of Americans care what's going on. Your comment about Mayor Pete is spot on. Basically, he has not fleshed out a lot of his issues. We don't know if he's a middle-of-the-road Democrat or a progressive Democrat. We know he can give a hell of a speech. I was so blown away by it. I went on Twitter and said I'd vote for the guy. I was referring to in a general election, I would vote for him. But frankly, I'd vote for any Democrat in a general election. But I'd enthusiastically vote for him. But not necessarily in a primary. I want to know more about his positions. But the fact of the matter is, he came from a wealthy family, not rich, but seriously upper middle class, and and he's like the poster boy for the meritocracy, the guy who learned 7 languages, the guy who learned Norwegian just so he could read a book, blah, blah, blah. And, the gay guy who overcame, all that or seems to have, and, has a happy life with his husband. And, those are stories that you're absolutely right. Upper middle class white people are most attracted to. But I think that if you look at the message of the solid progressives in this race, particularly Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, if you look at that message, that is and would have been Sherrod Brown as well, except he decided not to run. And Tim Ryan is trying to run on this, but his voting record is not progressive. He's been a kind of a new Democrat. But if you look at what their primary pitch is to working people, we're going to create good jobs in America. We're going to stand up for working people. We're going to fight against corporations and conglomerates and all this kind of stuff. And I think they're reaching out to those people, and I think Mayor Pete is at one of these moments in time where he has to decide who he's going to be when he grows up.
I have one quick thing that I want to kind of touch on. Also, when I was talking to my fiance last night, and I was telling her, and I own a business, and one of my employees, this guy, young black kid, he doesn't vote. I try to talk to him all the time. I'm like, listen, man, you need to get out there and vote. Forget about all that my vote doesn't count stuff. Just vote and see if it counts. Yeah. And my thing is, how are they going to reach these people? How are they going to get them to vote? Because I try to have these speeches with these kids all the time. I'm like, get the hell out. I'm sorry. Get out there and vote. you know?
No, I get it, and I agree with you, complete with the expletive. Yes, and that's our biggest challenge, is getting people out to vote, and it historically has been. We've got one of the lowest voter participation rates in the world among democracies. In fact, I believe among the 34 OECD countries, we are the lowest. And the reason why, the principal reason why, Brian, is that people know that when Donald Trump said the system is rigged, when Bernie Sanders said the system is rigged back in 2016, they were both right. The system was rigged by the Supreme Court in 1976 in Buckley versus Vallejo. And it was rigged in 1886 by the Supreme Court in Santa Clara County versus Southern Pacific Railroad. In those two decisions, the Supreme Court made, in the first one in 1886, they made corporations people, although that had been going on for a while, but they kind of ratified it. And in 2010, Citizens United brought all this together, but in 76 in Buckley, they said that billionaires can own an unlimited number of politicians. And we all know that. But the only way we're going to overcome that is by electing people who are acknowledging that, willing to talk about it, willing to do something about it. And that, by the way, was not the Democratic Party up until recently. But that is the Democratic Party now, increasingly. It's not, I'm not sure it's more than half, but I think we're getting damn close. And that's a good thing. And that's only going to happen if people not only vote, Brian, but show up at the local Democratic Party and say, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a precinct committee person. I want to be one of the people who helps write the platform. I want to be one of the people who helps decide who's going to run in the primaries. I want to be one of the people who's going to do outreach for the local, to get good people on the local school board and on the county commission and on the city council and in state representatives and state senators. Participate.
I joined our housing association. I'm the only black family in my neighborhood, and I joined the housing association just for that purpose. And they see me and they want to know how I think also. And my thing is hey, we all have a fair share in this economy. So I appreciate you taking my call, Tom.
Yeah, spot on, Brian.
One more thing. The biggest voter suppression right now going on is this Mueller document, and it's showing it's creating a lot of discouragement within our society. It's letting us see that, hey, man, this guy can get away with whatever he wants to, and that is voter suppression in itself.
I agree. That's part of that.
Thanks, oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, Brian. I just wanted to confirm. I wanted to agree with you, and we just have 20 seconds to the break, so we can wrap. You and I can run this out. That the reason why, as I said before, the reason why people don't vote is because they think that the system's rigged. That is the essential message of the Mueller report, that Trump rigged the system with a little help from his friends. And if Congress doesn't impeach, if Congress, whether they're successful or not, if they don't at least try to hold this guy accountable, then you're absolutely right, Brian. You're going to have a whole generation of young people who are saying, why am I even bothering?